In the previous video, we have discussed about bookkeeping and accounting. Now we shall discuss about recording of bookkeeping. So let us first discuss what is voucher. We have already discussed this in previous video. That is what is voucher. A voucher is a source document. It forms the basis for recording transactions in the books of accounts. A voucher may be in the form of cash memo or invoice, bill, debit note, credit note, etc. Vouchers are preserved for verification of books of accounts. So this is said to be a source document. As and when an audit is done, a voucher is to be preserved for verification of books of accounts. So with the transaction, a voucher should be a supporting document for the audit. These must be preserved in any case till the audit of the accounts and the tax assessment for the relevant period are completed. Nowadays, accounting is computerized and the necessary accounting vouchers showing the code number and the name of accounts to be debited and credited are prepared for the purpose of necessary recording of transactions. A transaction with one debit and one credit is simple transaction, and the accounting vouchers prepared for such transaction is known as transaction voucher. So you can see this voucher which records a transaction that entails multiple debits, credits, and one credit debit is called compound voucher. So you can see the specimen of debit voucher. This is a debit voucher. And here comes accounting equation. In the last video we have already discussed about this, so accounting equation, and we shall try to solve the problems as well. So what is an accounting equation? Accounting equation signifies that the assets of the business are always equal to the total of its liabilities and capital. Capital is nothing but owner's equity. The equation is read as follows. Asset is equals to capital plus liabilities. The above equation can also be represented in the following form as a derivatives to enable the determination of missing figures of capital or liabilities. So this can also be read in different way. So asset minus liabilities. So in order to find out the capital, so liabilities, if we take liabilities to right hand side, so plus sign becomes minus. So assets minus liabilities equals to capital. Second one, liabilities. In order to find liabilities, what we do, we just bring the capital to right hand side. So when we bring the capital to right hand side, the plus sign becomes minus. So assets minus capital, which gives us liability. So here is the accounting equation. Let us try to solve few questions based on this. Okay. On 31st December 2003, the total assets and liabilities weigh 1 lakh and 30,000 respectively. Calculate capital. So as per the equation, so everyone knows that what is the accounting equation. Accounting equation is equals to assets is equals to capital plus liabilities, right? So we have assets and liabilities. We need to get to know capital. So what we need to do? So we need to take this liabilities to left hand side. So the equation becomes what capital is equals to asset minus liabilities. So now capital is equals to how much is assets? 1 lakh, right? Minus how much is liabilities? 30,000. So 30,000. Which gives us 1 lakh minus 30,000, which gives us 70,000. So our capital is 70,000. Have you understood? Now let us see third one. Supply the missing amounts on the base of accounting equation. So asset is equals to liabilities plus capital. You know very well the accounting equation. So we need to calculate the capital over here. So when we take this 15,000 to our left hand side, it becomes minus 15,000. So 20,000 minus 15,000, the capital is going to be 5,000. Now let us see second one. So we need to calculate the asset. So liabilities plus capital. So like here the liabilities are 5,000, the capital is 10,000. So when we add these two, we will be getting the assets. So 5,000 plus 10,000. So we get 15,000 is the asset. Okay. So this can be asked for 2 marks in the examination. Okay. Now next one, 10,000. Assets are given 10,000. Liabilities we need to find out. Whereas capital is given 8,000. So what we do, we just bring the 8,000 to our left hand side. So then it becomes minus 8,000. So 10,000 minus 8,000, which gives us 2,000. So the liabilities are 2,000. So let us discuss book of original entry. So what is book of original entry? The process of recording transaction in journal is called journalizing. The first topic which we are going to solve problems is journals. Okay. The original entry is said to be a journal. The process of recording transaction in journal is called journalizing. Once the journalizing process is completed, the journal entry provides a complete and useful description of the event effect on the organization. The process of transferring journal entry to individual account is called posting. This sequence causes the journal to be called book of original entry and the ledger account is the principal book of entry. In this context, it should be noted that on account of number and commonality of most transactions, the journal is subdivided into number of books of original entry as follows. So subdivided the journals, like we have 3 books: day book, second one is cash book, and journal proper. In day book we have these are being further classified. First one is purchase book, purchase written book, sales book, sales written book, bills receivable book, bills payable book. So we are going to discuss about all these books separately in subsidiary books. So journal. So first and foremost is journal. In the earlier side, what is journalizing? We have dealt with what is journalizing. So here we discuss about journal. This is a book of original entry. So journal is said to be a book of original entry. Okay. Book of original entry. In this book, the transactions are recorded in chronological order, as and when they take place. Afterwards, transactions from these books are posted to respective accounts. That is called ledger. Each transaction is separately recorded after determining the particular account to be debited or credited. The format of journal is shown below. So this is important. We are going to solve based on this format only. So seeing the transactions, we are supposed to enter the journal. So here comes date, particulars, ledger folio, debit amount, credit amount. So what are all these things? Let us discuss this in the coming video. Here comes classification of accounts. In the earlier slide, we have discussed about journal. Now we shall discuss about classification of accounts. So transactions can be divided into 3 categories: transactions relating to individual and firms, transactions relating to properties, goods or cash, transactions relating to expenses or losses, and incomes or gains. Therefore, accounts can also be classified into personal, real and nominal. The classification may be illustrated as follows. Classification of accounts. So in the classification of accounts, we have 2 heads, that is personal and impersonal. So that is personal and impersonal. So in personal account, we have natural, artificial and representative, whereas coming to impersonal account, real and nominal. So in real, this is further subdivided into tangible and intangible. So I shall explain you all this classification with an example. So in the earlier slide, we have discussed about classification of accounts. We have two classification of accounts, that is personal and impersonal. So in the personal, we have seen natural person, artificial person, and representative person. The accounts which relate to personal accounts include the following. So first one is natural person. Accounts which relate to individuals. For example, Mohan account, Sham account, Hemant account, Ram account. So it is particularly of an individual, which is related to an individual. Next comes artificial person. Accounts which related to a group of person or firms or institution. For example, HMT Limited. For example, I can say company, Indian Overseas Bank, or Life Insurance Corporation of India, Cosmopolitan Club. So all these are artificial. I can say HDFC Bank, SBI Bank. So all these are artificial persons. Next comes representative person. Accounts which represent a particular person or a group of person. For example, outstanding salary account, prepaid insurance account is a representative of person. Say for example, outstanding salary. So salary is paid to all the employees, right? Of which some of the salary is pending to all the employees. So outstanding salary is said to be a representative of all the persons, right? So in personal accounts, we have dealt with natural persons, artificial persons, and representative persons, right? So in the classification of accounts, personal, we had natural, artificial, and representative. Whereas coming to impersonal, we shall discuss what is real and nominal account. So we are going to discuss about impersonal. So impersonal account, all those accounts which are not personal accounts. This is further divided into two types, that is real and nominal accounts. So nominal accounts, these accounts do not have any existence, form or shape. They are related to income and expenses and gains and losses of business concern. For example, salary account, dividend account. So it just look into income and gains and income, expenses, gains and losses. Nominal account sees only this. Whereas coming to real account, accounts relating to properties and assets which are owned by the business concern. Real accounts include tangible and intangible accounts. For example, land, building are real, goodwill are real, purchases. So all this